Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Daniels here with Rancho Costa Properties. I want to talk to you today about how to get top dollar for your house. I'm talking about finding someone who falls in love with your property, not just likes it, but somebody who falls in love with your home and who's just irrational about it and who's willing to pay 20, 50, 100, $200,000 over the asking price. Let's get right down to it. If you don't want to do any work and put your home on the market and just put a sign in the front yard and wait for people to come, that's up to you, but this is not the video for you. This is for the person who's willing to put some work into the house, that is willing to make a few repairs to get the home to shine like a diamond so people just fall in love with it. Let's get right down to it. First thing we want to do is we want to have a strategy. We want to be kind of like developers. I mean, home builders. What do they have? They have staged homes. They know with their model homes that people will fall in love with them because those model homes are gorgeous. I know that you've been in them before, and they're there to make sure that people who lack imagination can go, oh, hey, look what they did. Oh, this looks really nice. Wow, I've never seen that before. Those are the types of things we want to do. And if there's one thing I know after being a full-time real estate broker for 32 years is how to get top dollar for a home. I've made millions of dollars buying, selling, flipping homes, and hundreds of millions of dollars for my clients getting their properties just to shine. So let's get right down to it. I'm going to show you just a few things that I do in this brief video. I can't possibly do them all because it would just take too long, but let's get down to my top 3 list, okay? Understand that the property has to sell 3 times. You have to sell it the first time to the buyer. The buyer's got to go, wow, this is incredible. The second person we have to sell it to is the inspector. The inspector has to come into the property and say, wow, this property's in really good shape. Gives that feedback back to the buyer, and the buyer doesn't have any buyer's remorse about overpaying for the home. The third person we need to sell the property to is the appraiser. We're not going to get there and get a high appraised value if the house is in shambles and doesn't look that great. So we have the appraiser has to walk in there and go, wow, this is pretty incredible. Okay, so let's get started. How do we do that? How do we sell it 3 times? First thing we want to do is we want to hire an electrician to come into our house and give it a tune-up. I know this sounds silly, but there are lots of things in your home electrically that you might not be aware of. Maybe your GFCIs are not working, something's not grounded, plugs don't work, lights don't work. Nothing says electrical hazard more than a house that has electrical issues. So it's not expensive. You pay per the hour and you have the electrician come in and just say, hey, listen, I want a tune-up. Go check everything out. Check out the breakers, the fuse box, the outlets, the lights. Check everything out. Give me a report. And then if there's anything that needs to be fixed on them, have him fix it at that time. The next thing we want to do is have the plumber come out to the property. The plumber comes out there and checks the ball valves, the supply lines to all of the sinks and toilets, checks the drains, maybe scopes the drains. We can get a drain scope. That would be incredible. Buyers would love to have that. That way they see there's no issues. If there are issues, we have them fix it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have the plumber come to the house, and the plumber is going to inspect the water supply lines. A lot of water supply lines on older houses are brittle and suspect to break, so we might want to have those repaired, okay, or replaced. We want to make sure there's no corrosion on the supply lines because inspectors love to call that out during the inspection. We want to make sure that the drain lines have been scoped and they are free of roots and debris and breakage. We want to get all this stuff fixed. How are you going to laugh all the way to the bank if the buyer finds a bunch of stuff wrong with your house? So we have the plumber come in, we have the plumber do his thing, we have the plumber fix it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have the termite guy come in. The termite inspector is going to come in, and this is very inexpensive for them to do. They're going to come into the property, and if you're thinking to yourself right now that, oh, we're already on a termite program, well, guess what? You have termites, and they're not finding all of them. We want to get a Section 1 termite report done. The difference between Section 1 and Section 2 is Section 1 termites are active termite infestation or rotten wood. Section 2 in the report, those are things that could lead to problems down the road. Like maybe you have a garage door that wicks up the water, maybe a wooden garage door that wicks up the water when it rains, or you hose down the driveway, those type of things. But we want a Section 1 clearance. Remember, we got to sell it to the buyer, the inspector, and the appraisal. And we want to make sure that we get the electrician, the plumber, and the termite person out there to get the work done. Now, if you work with me and we get those three things done, I can most assuredly guarantee you that your property is going to sell for way over the asking price. I've been out there with power washers, my own power washer out there helping people blast off the green residue mold stuff off their driveways, off their patios. I've helped people paint properties before. I've even paid for repairs in advance because I know in my heart of hearts that that property will sell for way over the asking price or at asking price if we just make these repairs. I do it with every single flip house I do. I make sure that it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the last thing we can do is stage the property. If you want to talk about staging, if you want to talk about repairs, I can help with all of those things. Feel free to give me a call. Mike Daniels of Rancho Costa Properties, and I will see you in escrow. Have a great day.